Okay, so in this video I'm going to discuss how Linux differs from other operating systems as they have a single root file system and everything else is kind of mounted into that file system. So you don't have drive letters like, say, a Windows machine. So on a Windows machine, C:* is usually where you have the main operating system, and if you have a CD-ROM, you may have that as D: for the D drive, and then if you put in an external hard drive, it may come up as E:. And so it has drive letters for accessing different partitions and different types of file systems like CD-ROMs, etc. So on a Linux system, like I said, everything is on what we call the root file system, which is /. And I guess the easiest way to show you the different mounts would be to run the mount command without any parameters. And you can see there's quite a lot in here, but you can see that there's a proc file system on /proc. Now, as we talked about before, that is an in-memory file system and it's sort of controlled by the kernel. Then you have the /sysfs file system, which again is controlled by the kernel, and it puts stuff in there automatically when devices are added or removed from the system. You can see that we've got a dev mount point, and as you know, that udev creates a lot of the device nodes in /dev automatically. If we scroll down further, you can see that on /dev/SDA, so the first partition of the SDA drive, we have a /boot partition. And you can see, I'm just looking for the root file system. Up here you can see we've got dev mapper CentOS-root on /. So this is the root file system, which is controlled by LVM. And down the very, very bottom, you can see that we've got this dev SR0, which is a CD-ROM device. And you can see that it's mounted to /run, /media, /training, and then VirtualBox, VBox editions. And you can see that it's ISO 9660, which is the CD-ROM file system. Now, if I wanted to, we could mount dev SR0 to say /MNT. And now you can see that it's been mounted read-only. But if I run the mount command again, you can see that /MNT is now a mount point on the system. So if I ls MNT, you can see that there's a bunch of files in there. But if I unmount the MNT mount point and ls it again, you can see that it's empty because the mount no longer exists in here. So rather than using drive letters, a Linux based system and any Unix-like operating system will have mount points that that make up the system. Now, it doesn't have to be part of the system. It doesn't have to be a physical disk. It could also be a network file system, like a network share, like NFS or Samba. You could have like a Samba share for like sharing Windows, like sharing for the so if you had a Windows server, you could use Samba to connect to it, and you could mount Samba shares to that Windows machine and treat it like it was on this local machine. But that is probably all that we need to cover. You can see here, if I do a df-h for human readable, t to list the file system type, you can see that there is a bunch of mount points on the system here. But I don't want to go too far off track. I just wanted to give you an understanding of how mount points are different to, say, drive letters in a Windows machine. So I will end this video here.